living non-dual. So what is today about? Well, I had this inspiration to talk about what it is that brings me here in the first place. I mean, more or less, who do I think I am talking about these topics? I don't have a lineage. I don't have credentials. I don't have, apart from my own readings and meditations and occasional attendance at gatherings that one might consider spiritual. I don't think you would say there's anything about my background that would make me extraordinary. So what gives? The main thing is my strong desire to self-identify publicly as a person that has this point of view on non-duality and quote spiritual matters unquote, and my feeling, my intuition, my belief that doing so would have the effect of bringing like energetic signatures to me, because my experience is that those that I encounter in my day-to-day life don't have a perspective that aligns with mine. So we have all these opportunities on the interwebs now to reach out throughout the world and just express yourself. And hey, who knows what might happen? Well, I expect very good things to happen, so I shouldn't minimize it. The other thing that I became more and more convinced of, and this is really was inspired by a talk on the internet that I encountered from Rupert Spira, where he talked about two things in tandem. One being this idea that the direct path for awakening is becoming more accessible. In fact, he made the point that more or less before the time of Ramana Maharshi and his teaching and that teaching gaining wide prominence. Wide is kind of a strong word, but at least becoming apparent in the world and reaching millions of people. That the assumption was that any kind of awakening or enlightenment or the like was as a result of some arduous progressive path that took a student through some devotional process led by a guru or some other already enlightened individual, and bringing them step by step through this process that resulted in this enlightenment or awakening. And his point and the perspective that I feel strongly is accurate is that this thing that we call awakening is what we always and already are, which is to say that if non-duality as a principle holds, it stands to reason that each constituent part of the whole is already presently part of that whole. And to the extent that we're able to discern that truth or the accuracy of that state is the extent to which we are awakened to it. So it's not about adding something. It's not about adding properties or qualities or adding disciplines. It's about uncovering what is already there, removing or gradually melting away this layers of obfuscation, for lack of a better way of putting it. And once those are removed, or at least removed sufficiently to glimpse through them, then what is already there is this accuracy, this truth of awakenedness, that to which we're all a part. We're already a part, always and already a part of that. So what? So for better or for worse, I've been given. I've taken on the thought that this state of awakening is something that is accessible to all of us, and in fact is not extraordinary at all, given we are already it. How can something be extraordinary that we already are? Now, you will also see many, many communications on the non-dual perspective that emphasizes that non-duality tells us that my apparent self and these apparent words are only that. They are only appearances, and the only reality is the unity of all of creation. And I accept that as accurate. That's not something I even though I speak in using more common parlance, and very rarely talk about, all there is this, and there's nobody talking to you, and there's nobody listening, and aren't I clever? I take that as a given. I also take it as a given that this form of expression in this limited so-called body with these limited so-called thoughts and limited so-called words exist as part of creation for a particular kind of experience of creation, and that it's a feature, not a bug. So I embrace that, in part because I have an intuition about the kind of expression that I can make in this form, and not that it's unique, but that it is not common, and it is something that is still forming, that is still not fully clear to me as to how it will be expressed. But again, going back to the who do I think I am and what am I doing this for? Part of the reason for doing it is to uncover that intuition, that those aspects of this expression that I expect, one, as I like to reiterate, enhances my own awakening, furthers my own awakening as it progresses through further and further expressions of divinity, and that I might be a catalyst or a facilitator for others to have that awakening emerge. And there's another aspect to that is very much related to this notion of a direct path, and that is that the time or the era of the individual sage or individual guru or individual teacher who's set apart from the students and set apart from those who are not awakened is over. Said in so many words from several sources that came to me that made an unmistakable message that it impelled me to continue this expression and continue the activity of further and further awakening, because I do have an intuition as to how some of that, what that next progression might be in our expression of this understanding. Meaning, if the day of the time of the individual guru or the individual sage or individual teacher is over, perhaps we're emerging into a time where more collective action can be done, may be done in a way that when it comes to true fruition or full fruition, I can imagine how powerful it would be in creating harmony and peace and creating an environment in which all the souls on this planet and wherever else they might be will not just be part of that single emanation of all of creation, of all of life, but would also have it expressed even in this limited form. Is that possible? I don't know. I have a really strong intuition that it is possible, and I feel I'm in a position to be a catalyst to bringing it about. So that's why I'm doing all this. And but first and foremost, for my own furthering my own awakening and the intuition that I can possibly help others, and then further that there might be ways for me working with others to craft ways for us to act more collectively and to even further accelerate awakening on a much, much broader scale. So I guess I can say watch this space, but that's all corny. But that's what I feel like the message is.